US dentistry firm Smile Direct Club has gone bust, and it's left thousands of British consumers out in the cold and now wondering what their consumer rights are. Many are contacting me and saying that we took out finance agreements and finance plans and we've not got what we paid for, but now the finance company is saying I've still got to carry on making my payments. And the question that consumers are now asking me is, what are my legal rights? Do I have to carry on making these payments, or do I have an out? Do I have any rights whatsoever to claw back some or all of my money? Now, the starting point with this is under the Consumer Rights Act 2015, the law I'm always talking about, because it says that as a consumer, if you do not get what it says on the tin, or, that's a virtual tin by the way, or if you do not get what you paid for, as in these circumstances, you are going to be entitled to a remedy. Now, the remedy here is, of course, going to be to get your money back. But the problem here is that whilst the law is going to say, yep, you're entitled to all your money back because you've not got what you bargained for, what you paid for, or some of your money if you got some of what you paid for, the company that should give that money back to you, that's Smile Direct Club, doesn't have any money. Its pockets are no longer deep. It's in liquidation, or in America they call that Chapter 11. Therefore, there's no money to distribute. So the best you can do is join a long list of creditors and hope that there is a payment, which, by the way, there almost certainly will not be, because normally there isn't. And I've looked this company up and it looks like it was deep millions, hundreds of millions in debt. Therefore, the chances of you getting a payment there is very slim indeed. But that's not the end of the story, because sometimes when you look at how you paid for goods or services, that method of payment gives you an ACE card, and that will be the case here. So let's go through the different scenarios that you may have had. If you paid with your debit or credit card and you did so in the last 120 days, you can make a straightforward chargeback claim, go to your bank, make the claim and ask for all your money back. It will be an easy claim because here the trader, Smile Direct, has not seen through the service, has not given you all what you paid for. And therefore, in those circumstances, there's what we call a breach of contract, meaning you get your money back. Now, if you paid by credit card and you are outside of 120 days and you paid more than £100, I'm saying that because you may have paid just a deposit, just one-off payment. Therefore, it may be less than the normal thousands of pounds that I've been hearing about. But if that's you, and you pay by credit card, exactly the same thing as chargeback, but we're going to call this a Section 75 claim. And again, there's a clear breach of contract. You've not received what you paid for. It ought to be a really easy claim. Now, many people are telling me they paid with finance. I've not seen any of these finance agreements. I know that this company had its own payment plan administered by an external third-party lender, but I've not seen any of these. But what I'm interested to know is, what type of agreement is it? Now, if you've got what we call a fixed sum agreement, then you're in luck. I'm going to give you an early Christmas present, because that means that that agreement falls under the Consumer Credit Act 1974. And even though we normally associate credit cards with Section 75 claims, also it applies to fixed sum loan agreements. So if you've got one of those, you can go to the lender, the company that's loaned you the money and paid it straight to Smile Direct, and say, I'm making a Section 75 claim, give me all my money back please, because there's a breach of contract. Those words are very important, because there must be a breach of contract for there to be a successful Section 75 claim, but here there clearly is. Now, if you find out that you do not have a fixed sum agreement, the only way you're going to find out is ask the company, go along and say, I have one, and see if they deny it. If they do, I'll come back and tell you in a moment what you can do. But if they do that, and you've made an upfront payment with your credit card, then, and that upfront payment is more than £100, you can still make the Section 75 claim via your credit card, and you won't just get back the £100 or whatever you paid, you'll get all the money back. That's how it works. Some people say it's harsh on the card companies. They've got deep pockets, believe me, they'll be okay. But that is a right that you've had since 1974. So hopefully if that's you, you'll get your money back that way. Now, if the lender says no, it's not a fixed sum loan agreement, or it is, but you're not entitled to your money back, or if your card company says we're not paying out under Section 75 even though you used your credit card, or if you're in the last 120 days and your bank still says no to a chargeback claim, your next step is going to be to go to the Financial Ombudsman Service and lodge a complaint. That's what they are there for, and they deal with many of these complaints. I tell people every week on my LBC radio show that when you make a Section 75 claim, nearly always it gets knocked back the first time round. Therefore, go back and ask again. Lots of people do that. They come back and tell me, we did that, we went back again, thank you so much, we got paid out. And those that didn't get paid out and then go on to the Ombudsman, not all, but a good majority of those come back to me and say, the Ombudsman found in my favour. As I say, it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes you're not entitled to the claim, and therefore the Ombudsman will explain why you're not. But in the overwhelming amount of cases that I've referred to people there, they have been successful. Now, a few other things to say. This company, Smile Direct, they had a guarantee, a 30-day money-back guarantee. Now, they're now saying, well, these guarantees are fallen by the wayside. But you believed when you bought into this service that that would be you. You'll get that guarantee. If you are still within 30 days, so if you've just taken this out in the last 30 days, I would go back and say to them, I'm invoking the guarantee. I want my money back under the guarantee. The liquidator is going to say, that's fine, but we haven't got any money. And then go back again if you've got the chance to make a Section 75 or chargeback claim. This is something else you'll add to the mix. There's another breach because they should have given my money back under the guarantee. So now there's two breaches. They've breached the guarantee, the 30-day money back guarantee, and they've breached our contract by not giving me everything that I have paid for. Now, last ditch attempt to get your money back. Let's assume now that the loan agreement you've got is not a fixed sum loan agreement. It's something else. Various other labels we can put on it, but I won't do that today. It's just something else. Let's also assume that there was no debit card used, no credit card used. Therefore, you're potentially out in the cold and can only rely on the liquidator making what we call a distribution to creditors. There's one more thing you can do, one more throw of the dice that you can try. From my research, I've seen that Smile Direct effectively went into some kind of insolvency event quite some time ago. That means that the finance company that you've used, who has been facilitated by a company called Tabio, who are retained to provide these services by Smile Direct, or were retained for that purposes, the ultimate lender that's loaned you money would definitely have known about this insolvency event that happened. They would have known of the chances of Smile Direct going pop, going bust. Therefore, they would have known that it may have been best not to pay out all the money to this company until you, as their customer, the consumer, the borrower, had received all of the services. Now, this is not a total fail-safe argument. It's a grey area. It's an argument that as a lawyer, I have run before and been successful with, not in the court, but that it's been settled pre-court, which tells you that in the case, or actually cases, there's more than one, that I've dealt with, the lender was not sure of its position, didn't want to risk court proceedings. So if this is you, I would go back and say, you should not have paid all of the money to Smile Direct. You should have paid them as I received my treatment. You should have asked me, have I received what I paid for? And because you didn't do that, and you went and paid them, I've been prejudiced. Therefore, I should not have to pay all of the money. Now, if they say no to you, the first thing is carry on paying. I should have said that at the start of this video. Before you've resolved this issue, make sure you carry on paying the monthly payments to protect your credit record, your credit rating. Because if you don't, the lender will go to the credit reference agencies, there's three main ones, and say there's been a default and it will affect your rating. So carry on paying, but whilst you're paying, take all of these steps that I've said. And if one of them comes off, everything you've paid, you'll get back anyway, and your credit rating will still be intact. So finally, this is not a lost cause. I've seen many newspapers and other media outlets saying how terrible this is. Everyone's lost their money. I don't think you have. There'll be a large proportion of customers of this dentistry, or this now ex-dentistry firm, that will get their money back. Some won't, there's no doubt about it. But don't go down without a fight, because if you do fight, I think the chances are you'll get some, either all or some of your money back.